The SMB SaaS template is a complete three-statement structure that is easy to customize your needs and ideal for subscription-based companies selling subscription tiers or plans, usually common for companies targeting SMBs or consumers. It contains not only the three financial statements with its supporting tables from the generic template, but also the same sophisticated structure for expenses as the enterprise SaaS template and a revenue logic to help you track your customer acquisition and retention funnel. Let's take a look. Starting here with your financial statements, let's start with this P&L. The P&L, as you can see, is very straightforward, and the same applies to also the balance sheets and to your cash flow statement. All those three statements, if you want to see where something's coming from, you can always just click a formula and see, for example, this is coming from the net profit, from the P&L table, from the template space, right? This will always indicate where you need to go if you want to see how that data is coming to your financial statement. So if you open up here at the top, you see the 5 classes of spaces, which are the assets, equity, expenses, liabilities, and revenue. And also the 3 financial statements, obviously, which are tables. If you click any of these spaces, you'll see the underlying tables for any of those. So for example, for assets, you can see here that we have accounts receivable, bank accounts, and so on. Equity, only one table. Liabilities, also a few tables. And most of these are pretty straightforward. Expenses is where we have an additional element, which if you saw the enterprise SaaS template, you'll be familiar with, but basically we have an additional subspace here for personnel, where you can add your personnel for general and administrative, research and development, or sales and marketing. And also, we also divide the expenses into these 3 categories. So if you go here to total expenses, you'll see that total expenses is sum of G&A, R&D, and S&M, and each one of them refers to its own underlying table, right? Where you can have a list of items, obviously customizable. You can change any names in here and add new items, delete any of those, and so on and so forth. The other part that is unique to this model is the revenue logic. So here on revenue, you can see we have a different table here for customer acquisition. So revenue, if we see, is based on an example here with 2 plans. Obviously, you can add more. You can just create new rows and add to each one of these groups. Very straightforward, and just refer to the formulas that already exist for the revenue and number of new customers. And the way this works is it takes into consideration your number of new customers and their churn to calculate their total number of customers, and also use whatever you input as price to calculate your total revenue, right? So it is a driver-based calculation of revenue, and also the new customers logic is based also on drivers. So we have here a setup. Obviously, these are all placeholders that you can customize with your own channels, but we have a logic here for you to build on how to use a funnel, a marketing funnel for customer acquisition, and track here with Fluxo. So you can start with your advertising expenses, which, by the way, match with your advertising expenses that you see on your sales and marketing expenses. And then it will generate some traffic, and that will generate some trials, that will generate some new customers. So this logic is very easy to build with Fluxo, and this template already goes almost all the way for you. So all you need to do is customize with your own channels and make any necessary adaptations to reflect your own funnel. Given all of that, well, let's start planning.